Look around you. We live in a world bathed in illumination, yet often blinded by the contradictions of our own making. Cities gleam with electric brilliance, yet billions still live without reliable light. We have mapped the cosmos, captured photons from galaxies billions of light years away, and probed the structure of atoms, and yet we stumble in understanding the very nature of reality itself. Light surrounds us, illuminates us, and connects us, and yet it conceals mysteries that challenge the deepest foundations of existence. This paradox, the abundance of light and the depth of our ignorance, is where our story begins. Light is not merely a phenomenon. It is a messenger, a sculptor, and perhaps the very architect of the universe. From the first moment after the Big Bang, photons poured forth, releasing energy, shaping matter, and setting the stage for everything that followed. Light carries information across space and time, a cosmic courier that encodes the history of the universe. Every ray, every wave, every particle of light tells a story that began billions of years ago and continues to shape the reality we inhabit today. Consider the role of light in structure formation. In the earliest universe, tiny fluctuations in matter density were amplified by the pressure of photons. Light itself, through radiation pressure and energy transfer, guided the clumping of gas, the formation of the first stars, and the emergence of galaxies. Without light, the cosmos would be an amorphous cloud of particles. Light is not merely illumination, it is a fundamental agent in the shaping of matter, a sculptor that carved the universe from chaos. Even on Earth, light is the lifeblood of life. Through photosynthesis, photons are transformed into chemical energy, sustaining ecosystems, powering cycles of growth, and ultimately fueling consciousness itself. Light carries the information of the sun, the energy of the cosmos, and the promise of life across every green leaf and every ocean plankton. It is the invisible thread that binds chemistry to biology, energy to awareness, and the cosmos to consciousness. Yet light is stranger than intuition allows. It is both wave and particle, continuous and discrete, familiar yet profoundly mysterious. In quantum mechanics, photons challenge our understanding of causality, locality, and measurement. They can exist in multiple states simultaneously, interfere with themselves across space, and transmit information instantaneously through entanglement. Light reveals a universe that is both orderly and probabilistic, coherent yet full of uncertainty. At the frontier of physics, light is both a tool and a riddle, a fundamental agent and a profound mystery. And light does more than illuminate. It structures perception itself. The speed of light sets the cosmic scale, defines simultaneity, and constrains causality. It shapes how we measure time, perceive distance, and understand motion. Relativity shows us that light is not merely a traveler, it is a standard, a ruler, and a clock, embedded into the very fabric of space-time. The universe without light is not merely dark, it is unknowable. Light is the framework upon which reality is built, the reference for existence itself. Moreover, light mediates information across cosmic distances. The photons reaching us from distant galaxies carry not only energy, but the imprint of history. Each spectrum, each shift, each subtle fluctuation tells us about the formation of stars, the presence of elements, the expansion of space, and the evolution of matter. Light is both messenger and archive, a cosmic library encoded in electromagnetic radiation, patiently transmitting knowledge across billions of years and unfathomable distances. Even in the most extreme corners of the cosmos, light shapes reality. Near black holes, photons dance in curved paths, orbiting the singularity, forming the glowing accretion disks that illuminate regions otherwise hidden from view. In the hearts of stars, light transports energy from fusion cores to surfaces, driving convection, radiation, and the processes that ultimately allow life on planets like ours. Light is not a passive observer, it is the engine of energy transfer, the thread linking microcosm to macrocosm. And light carries a lesson about interconnectedness. From the first photons of the Big Bang to the sunlight nourishing an oak, from the glow of distant quasars to the screens on which we read this very moment, light binds the universe together. It is both physical and informational, energetic and symbolic. Light is at once particle and wave, history and present, matter and consciousness. It is perhaps the ultimate bridge between what is and what we perceive. At this edge, we are forced to confront profound questions. Is light merely a messenger, or is it the foundation upon which all existence rests? Does reality itself emerge from the interactions of photons and fields, from the exchange of energy and information that light mediates? And what responsibilities do we have as conscious beings embedded in this luminous web to observe carefully, to act ethically, and to understand that our choices ripple across the same cosmos, illuminated by the same photons that birthed stars and galaxies? To follow light is to follow the story of the universe. From the fireball of the Big Bang, through the formation of matter, the rise of galaxies, and the emergence of life, to the present moment in which we gaze upward, observe, and contemplate our place in a cosmos shaped and structured by the very thing we call illumination. Light is not merely what we see, it is what defines what can exist, what can act, and what can know. And perhaps in this, we see our own responsibility. Just as light has guided matter into structure, life into complexity, and knowledge into awareness, so too can we guide our civilization. Our choices, our creativity, and our stewardship of Earth are threads in the same luminous web. Light shows us not only the universe, but the principles by which we might act, with clarity, with connection, and with foresight. The photons that began their journey billions of years ago now strike our eyes, our instruments, our consciousness. They are ancient yet immediate, distant yet intimate. In following them, we trace the architecture of existence itself, and perhaps glimpse the pathways by which we might participate responsibly in the ongoing unfolding of the cosmos. And there is yet another astonishing way to understand light. It is the sculptor of space itself. Consider gravitational lensing, a phenomenon predicted by Einstein's relativity. Light does not merely travel through space, it bends, warps, and traces the curvature of space-time caused by massive objects. From distant galaxies to clusters, light reveals the invisible architecture of the cosmos. The paths photons take are not random. They encode the shape, the mass, and the geometry of everything they pass. In this sense, light is not only a messenger, it is a tracer of the very scaffolding of reality, showing us the hidden contours of the universe. Even more subtly, light influences the evolution of matter on cosmic scales. Radiation pressure, the gentle push of photons streaming from stars, shapes gas clouds, drives stellar winds, and governs the formation of protoplanetary disks. Light carries momentum as well as energy, nudging dust grains into patterns that will eventually form planets. Without this ceaseless flow of photons, the stars might shine, but worlds like ours may never coalesce. Light is the silent architect of matter, orchestrating creation in ways we often overlook. And then there is the role of light in synchronizing cosmic processes. Pulsars, rotating neutron stars, emit pulses of radiation with near-perfect regularity, acting as natural cosmic clocks. These signals allow astronomers to measure distances, test relativity, and map the structure of the galaxy. Light is both timer and messenger, synchronizing events across scales that dwarf our human perception. It is the metronome of the universe, the cadence by which cosmic evolution unfolds. On an even more fundamental level, light is intertwined with the emergence of chemical complexity. Photons drive photochemical reactions in planetary atmospheres, initiating processes that form the building blocks of life. Ultraviolet light can split molecules, create free radicals, and catalyze reactions that would otherwise never occur. In the dance of photons and molecules, the potential for life emerges. Light is not just energy, it is the trigger, the spark, and the catalyst for the chemistry of consciousness. And there is the mysterious interplay of light with gravity and quantum mechanics. Photons are affected by gravity, yet they have no mass. They exhibit interference and entanglement, yet travel across vast distances at constant speed. Near black holes, light can orbit in delicate balance, tracing paths that defy ordinary understanding. At the edge of reality, light reveals paradoxes. It is both particle and wave, finite yet infinite, local yet capable of connecting the cosmos instantaneously through quantum phenomena. Even in human perception, light is the bridge between reality and consciousness. The photons that strike our retinas encode not only shape and color, but depth, movement, and temporal information. Our awareness of the world is literally a translation of cosmic energy into neural patterns. Every perception, every thought, every act of recognition is mediated by light. Without it, consciousness as we know it would not exist. In this sense, light is the medium through which the universe observes itself. And perhaps most profoundly, light teaches us about temporal connection. Every photon from a distant star carries the memory of a moment long past. When we observe starlight, we are witnessing history, the birth, life, and sometimes death of distant suns. Light is the archivist of the cosmos, the conveyor of memory, the chronicler of existence. It links past, present, and future in a continuum that spans billions of years. The human lesson here is both humbling and inspiring. If photons, mere packets of energy, can structure matter, drive chemistry, encode information, and link the universe across space and time, then surely our own actions, ideas, and choices can shape reality in profound ways. Light shows us the power of influence, the importance of propagation, and the subtle ways that small causes can ripple across immense scales. And so we are invited to reflect. To understand light is to understand responsibility. To follow its path is to follow the architecture of existence, to witness the mechanisms of creation, and to recognize our role in a cosmos that is both delicate and vast. The photons that journeyed billions of years to reach us now illuminate not only the stars, but our understanding, our imagination, and our duty to act in ways that honor the cosmos that made us possible. And there is yet another astonishing property of light. It is a mediator of cosmic balance. Light carries energy, yes, but it also regulates equilibrium on scales both small and vast. In stars, photons transfer heat from the core to the surface, preventing collapse and sustaining nuclear fusion. Across galaxies, starlight shapes the pressure of interstellar gas, influencing where new stars will ignite. Even on planets, sunlight drives winds, ocean currents, and climate patterns. Light does not merely illuminate, it orchestrates the balance of energy, matter, and motion across the universe. It is the silent regulator that keeps the cosmos coherent. Consider the interplay of light with dark matter and dark energy. Though invisible, these enigmatic components of the universe interact indirectly with photons. Gravitational lensing, for instance, reveals the presence of massive unseen structures by bending light. The very motion of galaxies, subtly guided by dark matter and accelerated by dark energy, is mapped through the photons that reach our telescopes. Light becomes the interface between the visible and the invisible, revealing the hidden architecture of the cosmos. And there's a frontier even stranger: the encoding of fundamental constants in light itself. The fine structure constant governing the strength of electromagnetic interactions dictates how photons interact with matter. If this number were even slightly different, stars might never ignite, atoms might fail to form, and life would be impossible. Light is therefore more than energy. It is a measure, a calibrator, and a rule setter for the cosmos, subtly enforcing the laws that make existence possible. Light also governs the emergence of perception and cognition in ways we often overlook. Photons trigger the earliest stages of vision, converting energy into electrical signals in our eyes. These signals are processed by the brain to construct the reality we inhabit. Without light, there is no perception, no observation, no consciousness as we know it. In this sense, light is the bridge between the external universe and the internal mind, the conduit through which the cosmos becomes aware of itself. Even the most extreme events in the universe are shaped by light. Gamma ray bursts, the death throes of massive stars, emit photons with energies millions of times greater than visible light. These photons can travel billions of light years, influencing star formation, ionizing interstellar gas, and occasionally impacting planetary atmospheres. Light, in its most violent forms, is still a vehicle of creation, spreading energy and initiating transformation on unimaginable scales. And at the smallest scales, light is the carrier of quantum information. Photons can become entangled, encoding correlations across distances that defy classical intuition. They transmit probabilities, histories, and possibilities, creating a web of interconnected outcomes. Reality itself, in this view, may be built upon the pathways that photons trace the information they carry, the relationships they encode, and the possibilities they illuminate. Philosophically, light teaches us a lesson about potential and action. Just as a single photon can trigger a chain reaction, igniting life on a planet, revealing a distant galaxy, or transmitting information across the universe, so too can small actions, guided by awareness and intention, ripple outward to shape history. Light is a metaphor and a mechanism. It shows that influence, clarity, and energy, no matter how subtle, can have effects that span scales beyond comprehension. And here lies the ultimate human lesson. If light, a seemingly intangible, fleeting phenomenon, can structure matter, drive life, transmit history, and regulate the cosmos, then surely consciousness, ethics, and imagination can shape civilization. The photons that journey across billions of years do not merely illuminate the stars, they illuminate the path we might take as stewards of our world, participants in the ongoing creation of reality. To follow light is to follow architecture, information, and responsibility. It is to recognize that the universe is interconnected, dynamic, and profoundly sensitive to influence. It is to act with awareness that every choice, like a photon, has consequences that travel far beyond the immediate moment. Light is not simply what we see, it is how the universe organizes itself, how life emerges, and how consciousness connects with existence itself. And there is yet another remarkable way to understand light. It is the unseen choreographer of time itself. Light does more than travel. It defines the rhythm of events across the universe. The speed of light is the cosmic metronome, setting the limit for information, causality, and interaction. Without light, there would be no simultaneity, no temporal order, no coherent unfolding of events. It is light that allows galaxies to synchronize, stars to age predictably, and planets to orbit with precision. Time is not merely measured by clocks, it is traced by the journey of photons across the cosmos. Even in the formation of life, light serves as a temporal regulator. On Earth, the cycle of day and night orchestrates circadian rhythms, influences hormonal activity, and guides behavior and reproduction. Without this rhythmic modulation of photons, biological clocks would falter, and ecosystems would lose their temporal coherence. Light not only powers life, it orders it. It creates patterns that sustain stability, growth, and adaptation. And there is a frontier even stranger: light as a mediator of probability and potential. In quantum electrodynamics, photons act as carriers of the electromagnetic force, guiding interactions between charged particles. They are the agents through which possibilities become realized events, nudging matter into patterns, dictating chemical reactions, and influencing the architecture of atoms and molecules. In this sense, photons are not passive. They are decision makers at the quantum level, shaping the emergence of structure from uncertainty. Consider also light as a messenger of cosmic history. The cosmic microwave background, the faint afterglow of the Big Bang, is a relic of the universe's earliest moments. Each photon in this background carries encoded information about the distribution of matter, the density fluctuations, and the primordial conditions that set the stage for galaxies, stars, and planets. Light preserves memory on scales that surpass human comprehension. It is a cosmic archive, a record that spans billions of years. Even on the scale of consciousness, light is a translator between reality and perception. Photons enter the eye, trigger neural cascades, and construct the visual representation of the world. Each color, shade, and intensity is a translation of physical reality into experience. Without photons, there is no perception, no observation, no sense of the universe as we know it. In this way, light is not only the medium of energy, it is the medium of awareness itself. And in the extremes of the cosmos, light is a catalyst for transformation. Ultraviolet photons from massive stars drive chemical reactions in nebulae. forming molecules that may eventually seed planets with the ingredients of life. High-energy gamma rays alter atmospheres, influence magnetic fields, and redistribute energy across interstellar space. Light is both sculptor and spark, shaping the evolution of matter and the emergence of complexity on scales unimaginable. Philosophically, light teaches us about connection and consequence. Every photon is a traveler, a messenger, and a participant in cosmic processes. Its journey, whether billions of years across space or milliseconds within a neuron, demonstrates that influence is cumulative and far-reaching. Small packets of energy ripple across vast scales, shaping matter, life, and awareness. Humanity can learn from this. Our actions, no matter how minute, have consequences that resonate through networks of relationships, societies, and even ecosystems. Finally, light embodies a principle that is both scientific and ethical. Illumination precedes understanding, and understanding demands responsibility. Just as photons reveal the universe, consciousness reveals choice. Just as light organizes matter and energy, ethics organizes human potential. To follow light is to recognize the architecture of existence and to participate in it consciously. To act without awareness is to ignore the very medium through which the universe expresses its order, its memory, and its creativity. At the edge of reality, then, we see a profound truth. Light is not merely something we observe. It is the architect of structure, the curator of history, the regulator of time, the catalyst of life, and the medium of awareness. It shapes the universe, guides the emergence of complexity, and illuminates the path by which consciousness can engage meaningfully with existence. The photons that have traveled across billions of light years are not simply arriving, they're inviting us to see, to understand, and to act. And perhaps, if we heed this invitation, we too can become architects in our own right, stewards of life, creators of knowledge, and participants in the unfolding cosmos. But if light reveals the structure of the cosmos, then perhaps we, as conscious beings, born from that same cosmic process, are the universe's attempt to understand its own illumination. We are, in a very real sense, creatures of starlight. Every atom in our bodies was forged in the hearts of ancient suns. Every neuron spark is powered by energy first released from a distant star. When we think, when we dream, when we love, we are engaging in acts of cosmic light transmuted through biology into consciousness. Our civilization, then, is an experiment in the organization of light itself, a collective reflection of the universe's impulse toward complexity. Every network we build, from the internet's fibers to the neural circuits of our minds, echoes the same principle that governs photons, the transmission of information across space and time. Our satellites orbit Earth like synthetic stars. Our cities shimmer like constellations, and our digital signals traverse the planet at nearly the speed of light. We have recreated, in miniature, the very processes that define the cosmos. Yet this parallel is not without peril. Just as light can illuminate, it can also blind. Our technologies, powered by photons, have given us the power to see across galaxies and into the subatomic world. Yet they have also created shadows, zones of ignorance, distraction, and distortion. In an age where information travels faster than understanding, the very abundance of light risks overwhelming the clarity it was meant to provide. The challenge of our century is not generating illumination, it is cultivating wisdom in its presence. Light spreads effortlessly, it radiates outward, diminishing with distance, but never truly vanishing. Human influence behaves much the same way. Every action, every idea, every broadcast of thought ripples outward into the collective consciousness. The question we face is not whether we will emit energy, but what kind. Will our influence illuminate, or will it scorch? Will our brilliance create structure or chaos? Consider coherence the principle that gives rise to the laser, one of humanity's greatest harnessings of light. Coherent light is powerful not because it is bright, but because it is ordered. Every photon moves in phase, aligned in purpose. In contrast, incoherent light, like that from a bulb, radiates in all directions, bright but unfocused. Civilization, too, oscillates between these states. When our efforts are scattered, we glow but achieve little. When our intentions align toward justice, knowledge, sustainability, we become a laser, capable of cutting through ignorance and reshaping destiny. And then there is reflection, the universe's quiet metaphor for awareness. Light bounces off surfaces, revealing form through contrast. Reflection, in human terms, is thought the act of turning perception inward, of seeing oneself as both observer and participant. Without reflection, light is wasted, and so too is consciousness without contemplation. Our capacity for reflection determines not only what we know, but how wisely we act upon it. Light also teaches us about interference, the phenomenon where waves overlap, amplifying or canceling each other. Human civilization is an interference pattern of billions of minds, cultures, and ideas. Sometimes our waves combine, creating moments of great resonance, renaissances, scientific revolutions, movements of collective progress. Other times, they cancel, producing silence, division, or stagnation. But even destructive interference is part of a larger pattern. It is the universe's way of reminding us that coherence requires listening, alignment, and humility. In the cosmic sense, we are both emitters and receivers, sources of influence and interpreters of meaning. The photons of our actions, our creations, our legacies travel outward, shaping the future just as ancient starlight shapes our understanding of the past. What we do here, on this small planet orbiting an ordinary star, will echo far beyond our lifetimes, refracted through generations and across civilizations yet unborn. And perhaps this is what light ultimately asks of us: to recognize that illumination is not a passive state, but a dynamic process. To live in light is to participate, to observe, to act, to align with the deeper patterns of reality that connect energy, matter, and awareness. The photons that have traversed the universe to reach our eyes did not come all this way for us to remain indifferent. They came to be seen, understood, and continued transformed into insight, compassion, and purpose. For when we understand light, we begin to understand ourselves. We are, after all, not separate from the cosmos, but expressions of it. The same physics that governs the stars governs our thoughts. The same principles that sculpt galaxies shape our societies. The same dance of energy that ignited the universe ignites the human spirit. We are not observers standing at the edge of creation. We are participants in its ongoing symphony. And this realization carries responsibility. Just as light gives shape to the universe, our choices give shape to the future. Every technological breakthrough, every moral decision, every cultural transformation is a photon in the grand beam of human history. Whether that beam illuminates or blinds depends on how consciously we wield it. We often speak of enlightenment as a metaphor for wisdom, but in the deepest sense, it is not a metaphor at all. Enlightenment is literal, the infusion of understanding, the transmission of clarity, the propagation of awareness. To be enlightened is to live in resonance with the physics of the universe itself, coherent, radiant, and constructive. So let us ask ourselves, not as scientists, not as citizens, but as cosmic participants, what kind of light do we wish to emit into the universe? Will our civilization's glow be a beacon of understanding, a signal of intelligence, and a testament to our ability to live in harmony with the forces that made us? Or will it be a flare that burns bright but briefly, consumed by its own intensity? For the cosmos has seen many forms of light, brilliant supernovae that outshine galaxies, ephemeral flares that fade into darkness. But among all these luminous phenomena, consciousness may be the rarest light of all, the light that not only shines, but knows that it shines. And that, perhaps, is the true meaning of illumination, not simply to see, but to understand that we are part of what is seen. If light is the architect of the physical universe, then awareness is the architect of the human one. Consciousness is the cosmos turned inward, the universe folding back upon itself to ask, "What am I? Why do I exist?" It is the moment when energy begins to reflect, not merely in mirrors or oceans, but within the fabric of thought. Awareness did not arrive suddenly. It was not bestowed. It emerged slowly, delicately, through billions of years of evolution. A spark in the first nervous systems, a flicker in the eyes of ancient creatures, a glimmer of self-recognition in the minds of early humans gazing at their own reflections in still water. Awareness was the universe learning to notice itself, From chemistry arose biology, from biology thought, and from thought the power to shape destiny. In this unfolding, consciousness became not merely an outcome, but a continuation of the cosmic process. Just as gravity sculpts galaxies, awareness sculpts meaning, and meaning, unlike matter, cannot be measured in kilograms or joules. It is measured in choices, in compassion. In the delicate architecture of understanding we build between ourselves and the universe. But consciousness is not merely observation. To be aware is to be entangled with reality, to influence it, to shape it, to bear responsibility for what one perceives. The ancient photons that traveled across eons to reach our eyes complete their journey not in matter but in mind. They find their destination in awareness. And what we do with that awareness determines whether we remain passive observers or become active participants in the cosmic story. Human history is, in many ways, the chronicle of awakening. Each era has expanded the boundaries of what we can perceive, what we can imagine, and what we can care about. We once saw only our village, then our nation, then our planet, and now, through instruments and intellect, we see the universe itself. Each expansion of perception brings with it an expansion of moral responsibility. The more we see, the more we must care. And yet, awareness alone is not enough. Information without ethics is radiation without coherence. It scatters, dazzles, and blinds. The challenge of the modern age is not to acquire more data, but to develop the wisdom to interpret it. Our instruments can now detect gravitational waves, capture exoplanets, and simulate the birth of stars. But do we yet understand how to align this knowledge with empathy, with foresight, with stewardship? Science gives us power. Awareness must give us restraint. Consciousness, at its core, is relational. It thrives not in isolation, but in connection between neurons, between minds, between species, between worlds. The more connected we become, the more the universe mirrors its own structure within us. Networks of human thought resemble networks of galaxies. The architecture of cognition mirrors the filaments of the cosmic web. Awareness, it seems, obeys the same laws as the universe itself. It seeks complexity, coherence, and continuity. But there is a deeper dimension still, the one we rarely acknowledge. If we consider length, width, height, and time as the four dimensions of reality, then awareness is the fifth. It does not exist in space, yet it organizes space. It does not flow through time, yet it gives time meaning. Awareness is not merely in the universe, it is what allows the universe to be known. Without awareness, time is motion without memory, matter is structure without story, and energy is action without purpose. To recognize awareness as a dimension is to accept that the universe is incomplete without participation. It requires witnesses, interpreters, and creators beings who can transform energy into experience and experience into significance. In that sense, we are not separate from the cosmos. We are the cosmos engaged in reflection. And reflection, when multiplied across billions of conscious beings, generates civilization. Every scientific discovery, every poem, every act of kindness is the universe expressing awareness through us. We are the eyes through which the cosmos beholds its own light, the hands through which it shapes its own future. Awareness is the bridge between what is and what can be. But awareness is fragile. It can be distorted by fear, by bias, by self-interest. When awareness contracts, so does the universe of meaning. When we close our minds, the cosmos shrinks with us. The galaxies still spin, the photons still travel, but the story dims. To live with expanded awareness is to participate in the ongoing illumination of existence itself. There's a term in physics entropy, the tendency for systems to move toward disorder. Awareness is, in many ways, the opposite. It is the local reversal of entropy, the concentration of meaning against the tide of chaos. Every act of understanding pushes back against randomness, carving order from uncertainty. When you teach, when you create, when you forgive, you are performing the same cosmic function as gravity and light. You are organizing reality. And perhaps this is the moral foundation of the universe, not written in scripture or law, but in the physics of being itself. The cosmos favors structure, coherence, and connection. Awareness, then, is not just a byproduct, it is a continuation of that law. To be aware is to align oneself with the creative tendency of existence. To ignore, to numb, to divide, is to drift toward entropy, to participate in the universe's decay. The fifth dimension, therefore, is not a place, it is a state. It cannot be traveled to, it must be inhabited. It emerges when consciousness acts in harmony with the laws of the cosmos, when knowledge meets compassion, when perception meets responsibility, when the observer becomes the steward. Awareness, in its highest form, is not passive observation, but active participation in creation itself. And so we stand at a crossroads unprecedented in cosmic history. For the first time, a species has achieved the ability to alter the planet that birthed it, to shape the climate, to rewrite the genome, to extend intelligence beyond biology into machines. We have become cosmic agents, emitters of not just light, but meaning. Whether this becomes a triumph or a tragedy depends entirely on how we wield our fifth dimensional gift. For awareness without humility breeds arrogance. Power without reflection breeds ruin. But awareness guided by understanding can turn even chaos into creation. The same physics that allows a star to collapse into a black hole also allows a nebula to give birth to new suns. Destruction and creation are not opposites, they are phases of transformation. Awareness is the force that decides which one we embody. So, let us redefine progress, not as the accumulation of power, but as the refinement of perception. Let us measure success not by how much we can control, but by how deeply we can understand. For every civilization that has risen before us has fallen not because it lacked brilliance, but because it lost awareness, because it forgot that knowledge is only sacred when guided by wisdom. The future of our species, and perhaps of consciousness itself, depends on this realization, that awareness is not a privilege, but a responsibility. We are the custodians of the universe's only known capacity, to wonder, to empathize, to imagine. If we squander that, we do not simply lose ourselves, we dim the light of the cosmos itself. The fifth dimension has revealed itself not through telescopes or equations, but through us. Awareness is the universe becoming self-aware. Responsibility is the recognition that this awareness must be used not merely to understand reality, but to preserve it. And cosmic truth, the final illumination, is that we were never apart from the universe. We are its reflection, its continuation, its conscience. If awareness marks our awakening, responsibility marks our maturity. For knowledge without stewardship is like a star without orbit, radiant, but destined to burn itself away. Every species before us has lived within the limits of its environment, shaped by forces it could neither comprehend nor command. Humanity, uniquely, has crossed that boundary. We have become a geological force, an agent of planetary change. We have entered an era where our choices rival the powers once reserved for nature itself. It is an extraordinary achievement and a dangerous one. For the same intelligence that builds telescopes to gaze across the universe also builds weapons that could end our story in an instant. The same systems that connect billions of minds can amplify division faster than understanding. Responsibility, therefore, is not an accessory to awareness. It is its test. It asks whether consciousness can guide power rather than be consumed by it. To act responsibly is to act with context, to see the invisible threads linking cause and consequence. Every invention, every policy, every decision carries ripples that extend beyond what we can see. When we alter an ecosystem, we are not simply changing a landscape. We are editing a chapter in Earth's evolutionary script. When we design algorithms, we are shaping the architecture of collective thought. When we choose comfort over sustainability, convenience over compassion, we are writing the physics of our own decline. Responsibility, then, is not restraint. It is foresight. It is the ability to see beyond the immediate, to anticipate the long echoes of our actions. It is understanding that progress is not measured by how fast we move, but by how carefully we steer. A civilization that races forward without reflection is not advancing, it is accelerating toward entropy. Yet responsibility must not be confused with fear. Fear paralyzes, responsibility empowers. It transforms anxiety into intention, awareness into direction. It is the difference between reacting to the future and shaping it. And this shaping, this deliberate authorship of destiny, is what distinguishes intelligence from wisdom. Throughout history, humanity has oscillated between discovery and denial, between revelation and retreat. We have learned to split atoms before learning how to share power, to digitize knowledge before cultivating wisdom. And yet, within these contradictions lies our potential. For evolution, both biological and civilizational, thrives on tension between risk and restraint, chaos and order, ambition and empathy. It is at this edge that transformation occurs. Responsibility also redefines freedom. True freedom is not the absence of limits, but the mastery of consequence. It is the recognition that every liberty we claim exists within a web of interdependence with other people, with the biosphere, with the cosmos itself. Freedom without awareness becomes exploitation, but freedom informed by responsibility becomes creation. The conscious shaping of possibility without destroying the conditions that make it possible. Our technologies, then, are not neutral. They are extensions of our values, magnifiers of intent. Artificial intelligence, genetic editing, planetary engineering, these are not merely scientific feats, they're moral frontiers. The question is not whether we can do these things, but whether we should, and if so, how. Responsibility demands that we slow the hand until the mind and heart are aligned. To live responsibly in a cosmic context is to act as if the universe is watching not with judgment, but with continuity. For every action we take becomes part of the cosmic record, embedded in matter, memory, and meaning. The carbon we release today will shape climates for millennia. The data we generate will echo through future intelligences that inherit our archives. Responsibility is the realization that nothing truly disappears. Everything persists somewhere, transformed but traceable. In this sense, ethics is a form of physics. It governs the flow of consequences, the conservation of integrity across generations. When we lie, exploit, or destroy, we are not merely violating a code, we are disrupting the symmetry of the system we inhabit. When we act with empathy, justice, and humility, we restore that balance. Responsibility, therefore, is not an external obligation, it is an alignment with the laws that sustain coherence in the universe. But responsibility is not a solitary act, it is a collective enterprise, a civilization-scale experiment in cooperation. Just as atoms combine to form molecules and stars cluster to form galaxies, our individual choices must converge into collective direction. Society itself is a kind of field, an emergent network where trust, empathy, and knowledge interact to form stability. When those connections weaken, civilization begins to decohere. And so the question arises, what does responsible civilization look like in a cosmic age? It is one that understands scale. It knows that every local act contributes to a universal pattern. It designs technologies that heal rather than harm, economies that sustain rather than consume, cultures that educate rather than divide. It understands that progress is not domination but participation, not extraction but integration. Responsibility is also temporal. It extends beyond the present moment, reaching into futures we will never see. The trees we plant, the knowledge we preserve, the peace we negotiate. These are messages to descendants we will never meet. To live responsibly is to think in centuries, not seasons. To see oneself as a link in a chain that began before birth and will continue long after death. In this way, responsibility becomes an act of faith, not in gods, but in continuity. It is the belief that existence is worth preserving, that awareness deserves endurance, that life's fragile coherence is not an accident to exploit, but a miracle to protect. We are, in essence, the universe experimenting with morality. We are the bridge between what can be done and what should be done. Our tools extend our reach, but our conscience must extend our vision. For if intelligence is the universe learning how to know, then responsibility is the universe learning how to care. And perhaps that is the next great threshold. Not interstellar travel, not artificial consciousness, but moral evolution. The awakening of empathy as a planetary force, as fundamental to civilization as gravity is to matter. Only then will we have earned the right to expand beyond our world, not as conquerors, but as caretakers of the light from which we came. For if awareness is the fifth dimension, then responsibility is its vector, the direction it points, the trajectory it follows. It is the line that connects understanding to action, knowledge to meaning, science to soul. Without it, awareness collapses inward. With it, the universe continues its ascent through us. And the cosmos, in its quiet grandeur, waits to see what we will do next. Truth, in its purest form, is not something we invent. It is something we discover, or more precisely, something that reveals itself when we are ready to see. The cosmos does not speak in words or symbols. It speaks in patterns, in relationships, in the quiet consistency of its laws. Every equation in physics, every principle in chemistry, every harmony in biology is a syllable in that universal language. To seek truth is to learn to listen. Yet, truth is not comfortable. It is not designed to please us. It humbles before it enlightens, dismantles before it builds. It strips away illusions of centrality, of permanence, of control. For every revelation that lifts us higher, there is another that reminds us how small we are in the vastness of what exists. But perhaps humility is not a wound to the ego, it is a doorway to comprehension. Only when we stop trying to impose meaning upon the universe can we begin to recognize the meaning already woven within it. The cosmic truth is that existence is not static, it is a process. Everything changes, everything flows, galaxies form, shine, and fade. Stars live and die, giving their matter to future worlds. Life arises, evolves, adapts, and transforms. Nothing is wasted, yet nothing lasts forever. The permanence we crave is not found in matter, but in motion, in the ongoing continuity of transformation. To live within truth is to accept impermanence not as loss, but as participation in a greater unfolding. There is no hierarchy in this process, no species or structure more sacred than another. The hydrogen atom that fuels a star and the neuron that sparks a thought obey the same physics. The difference lies not in value, but in complexity. The universe experiments with form, testing arrangements of matter and energy to see which can persist, which can reflect, which can understand. In that sense, consciousness is not the goal of creation, it is one of its many emergent expressions. Truth is not biased toward humanity. Humanity must learn to be biased toward truth. And truth, when seen clearly, reveals connection. Nothing exists in isolation. Every particle interacts with a field. Every organism depends on an ecosystem. Every mind is shaped by the collective memory of others. The illusion of separateness between self and world, between species and planet, between observer and observed, is the great error of perception. The cosmic truth is unity expressed through diversity, coherence expressed through complexity. What we call individuality is the universe performing variation. What we call death is the universe performing renewal. Science, in its most courageous form, seeks this unity. It is not a catalog of facts, but a journey toward coherence, an attempt to see through the surface of phenomena into the principles that make them possible. Philosophy, likewise, seeks to align our perception with those principles. When science and philosophy converge, we glimpse not just knowledge, but understanding a resonance between mind and cosmos. Truth, then, is the tuning of awareness to the frequency of reality itself. But truth is not only discovered in laboratories and telescopes, it is found in art, in empathy, in the recognition of patterns that bind human experience to the rhythms of nature. A symphony, a poem, a moment of compassion, these are not escapes from reality, but translations of it, attempts to express what equations cannot, the felt texture of existence. Truth is not only what we measure, but what we feel when we are aligned with the nature of things. And yet, even as we approach truth, we must guard against possession. To claim ownership of truth is to lose it. The moment a mind insists it has captured the totality of reality, it stops growing. The universe does not reveal itself to conquerors. It reveals itself to collaborators, to those who approach with curiosity, humility, and the willingness to be changed by what they learn. Cosmic truth is dynamic. It evolves as the universe evolves, as perception deepens, as awareness matures. What was true for Newton gave way to Einstein. What was true for Einstein may yet yield to a deeper unification still. Each paradigm is not a replacement of truth, but a refinement of perspective. Reality remains constant. Our interpretations orbit it, like planets around an unseen star. The pursuit of truth, then, is not a destination, but a discipline, a lifelong calibration of perception. It demands courage to question, patience to learn, and grace to admit when we are wrong. It is an act of devotion to reality itself, a recognition that the universe does not bend to belief. Belief must bend to the universe. And in this humility, a profound beauty emerges. The cosmos is not indifferent, it is consistent. It offers no favoritism, but it offers fairness. The same laws that govern the fall of an apple govern the dance of galaxies. The same forces that hold atoms together hold families, societies, and worlds in fragile equilibrium. Truth is symmetry, and to live truthfully is to live in balance with that symmetry, to think, act, and create in ways that resonate with the natural order rather than distort it. The moral dimension of truth lies here. Honesty is not merely a social virtue, it is a cosmic one. To distort reality, to deny evidence, to manipulate fact, these acts do more than deceive others. They fracture coherence. They introduce noise into the harmony of understanding. To speak truth, to seek truth, is to participate in the maintenance of universal order. And so, the greatest challenge of our era is not that truth is hidden, but that it is ignored. We are surrounded by unprecedented access to knowledge, yet threatened by its distortion. Misinformation spreads faster than insight. Ideology outpaces evidence. But the universe remains unmoved by our confusion. Reality does not need our belief to exist. It waits patiently for our return to coherence. To live by cosmic truth is to recognize that integrity is intelligence in motion, that clarity of mind and honesty of spirit are not luxuries, but necessities for survival. Civilizations that abandon truth may flourish for a moment, but they cannot endure. The universe itself is structured on truth. Only those who align with it can persist within it. Truth, therefore, is the compass of existence. It guides evolution, thought, and civilization alike. And perhaps, at the deepest level, truth is not something outside of us at all. It is the universe remembering itself through understanding the echo of the Big Bang, now articulated in human language, the law of physics transformed into empathy, ethics, and meaning. To seek truth is to complete a cosmic circuit. The universe expresses itself through us, and we in turn express the universe back to itself. That reciprocity, that endless dialogue between being and knowing is the essence of cosmic truth. And so, we arrive at the edge of understanding the quiet boundary where science meets soul, where knowledge becomes wisdom, and where the cosmos, after billions of years of unfolding, pauses to listen to itself through us. We are not separate from that story. We are its continuation, the consciousness of stardust, the reflection of ancient fire, the echo of creation learning to speak in the language of responsibility. Every discovery we make, every act of compassion, every moment of clarity is the universe advancing one step further into awareness. The atoms that once blazed in the hearts of supernovae now compose the hands that build telescopes, the minds that write symphonies, the hearts that imagine a better world. The universe has not only created life, it has created caretakers of its own possibility. And in that realization lies the highest truth. The cosmos is not something we witness, it is something we are becoming. Each generation stands at a threshold. We inherit not just a planet, but a responsibility to sustain its beauty, to protect its balance, to extend its story beyond ourselves. The same energy that forged the stars now asks to be guided with intention through ethics, through creativity, through humility. Perhaps the true purpose of intelligence is not domination, but alignment, not to control nature, but to harmonize with it, to use our awareness not to rise above the universe, but to rise with it. Progress, in this light, is not measured by how far we reach into the cosmos, but by how deeply we understand the responsibility of being conscious within it. One day, humanity may cross the gulfs between stars. We may seed other worlds, converse with other forms of life, and carry our stories beyond the boundaries of this fragile blue world. But let us remember, our greatest voyage does not begin with rockets or machines, it begins within. The final frontier is not outer space. It is inner coherence, the alignment of knowledge, compassion, and purpose. When we finally understand that to care for the universe is to care for ourselves, when we see that every atom of us is the universe made self-aware, we will have taken the next evolutionary step, not biological, but moral. Not technological, but spiritual in the truest scientific sense, the recognition that everything is connected, and that connection is sacred not by decree, but by fact. And perhaps, long after we are gone, when another civilization looks back at this corner of the galaxy and measures the faint traces of our existence, they will see not monuments of stone or steel, but the radiance of intention, the signature of a species that, for a brief and brilliant moment, understood its place in the cosmic order and chose to act with care. For that is the legacy worth leaving. Not the conquest of space, but the continuity of light, the propagation of awareness, responsibility, and truth across time. We began as matter that could not think. We became life that could not understand. And now we are awareness that cannot ignore. The fifth dimension is not a realm beyond reach. It is the dimension we inhabit when we live with clarity, act with conscience, and recognize that every choice echoes through the fabric of existence. The universe has given us light to see, mind to know, and heart to care. What remains is the courage to live as though those gifts were sacred. And if we align our civilization with the harmony that shaped the stars, then perhaps in some distant future, the cosmos will remember us not for our wars, not for our noise, but for the moment we became luminous, not with fire, but with understanding. For that is what it means to awaken in the fifth dimension. To see truth without blindness, to wield power without arrogance, and to live as though the entire universe were watching, because it is, and it always has been, through us.